Is earning money to pay the bills keeping you from doing the things you really want to do? Maybe you've looked into FIRE or financial independence, retire early. Most people don't need to subscribe to a particular philosophy to understand the value gained from having more of your time under your control. The concepts for achieving financial independence are pretty simple. 1. Know your expenses. 2. Understand your income and investments. And 3. Visualize those expenses, income, and investments into the future and budget accordingly. Let's face it, at least 9 out of 10 people are not going to experience a windfall that makes them financially independent. So for those 9 out of 10 people, achieving financial independence prior to the age of 60 takes planning and budgeting. If you haven't already been planning and budgeting, there's a good reason. It is almost impossible to calculate all your personal finance numbers in your head. You need tools to help you get there. I'll show you tools you can use for your finances that cost less than $10, assuming you already have things like a computer or a spreadsheet application and an iPhone or iPad. So for the first step, know your expenses. This is easily done with the spreadsheet, which is free to you, assuming you already have a spreadsheet application like Microsoft Excel or Apple Numbers. I've created a spreadsheet to track yearly expenses, which you can download for free from itdtllc.com. I'm demonstrating this on an iPad with iOS 13. So I'll open the browser and then go to itdtllc.com. And at the bottom, there's a link for data files. So choose data files. Then you'll see an image with dollars and wings on them flying away. That's money flying away for expenses. And you can either choose to get the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet or an Apple Numbers spreadsheet. I'm on iPad with Apple Numbers, so I'm going to download the Apple Numbers spreadsheet. Click here and choose download. You can get Apple Numbers for free from the App Store as well. And then I'll exit the browser. And now I'm going to open the Files application, the Apple Files app. And I'll long press the spread. Well, first you have to choose locations and on my iPad. And then it'll be in the downloads folder. So I'm going to go to the downloads folder. And then I'm going to long press the spreadsheet. And from the options here, I'm going to choose move. And I'm going to choose the numbers, Apple Numbers spreadsheet app folder, which is here. Choose move. Then I'll go back to the numbers and I'm going to open up the spreadsheet on the iPad. And in the spreadsheet, it shows, there's a month, there's tabs for each month of the year, January, February, March, and then there's categories for expenses that you have throughout the year. And then at the bottom of the each category or column, there's a total, and then it totals those for the previous months up to the month and so on. So I'll give an example here. Let's suppose I have a $30 food bill, grocery bill. So I'll enter that, and I'll say 1,000. That's for 1/2/2020. So you see $30 down at the bottom that it added up. It adds up all those columns. And then at the end of the page, you'll see that it adds up all of the different categories for expenses and tells you what the total monthly expense is for that month, and the total expenses year to date, and then the average monthly expenses year to date. And so like if we get to February and say I have another grocery bill for $50, and then now you'll see that there's $50 for that month, and then you see the $30 added here for 80, and then it says, oh, there's a $40 average, and then in the totals, it'll adds up total expenses year to date, totals for the month, and then average monthly expense. Track each purchase you make through December, and by the end of the year, you will know exactly how you spent every penny. Tracking current expenses is very important for estimating future expenses. Expenses can change dramatically over the years, but the expense spreadsheet or whatever you use will give you an honest starting point for estimating future expenses. If you think this is too much effort and you just want to ballpark your estimate for yearly expenses, in 2020, a family household in America could get by on a minimal budget of about maybe $45,000 a year for most families. For a single person, maybe around $35,000 a year on minimal expenses. This assumes you are paying for a place to live. For the second step, you have to know your income and investments. Once again, a spreadsheet will work fine to track income and investments. Your income can be from your job or profession, Social Security, rental properties, maybe a pension, things like that. Your investments can be in the stock market, a 401k or IRA, real estate, a bank account. It is good to assess and track all income and investments on a yearly or quarterly basis. The third step involves modeling the payment of expenses from income and investments years and decades into the future. This step is the most difficult. I first did this third step for my own finances using a spreadsheet, but I found the finance formulas to be complex and not flexible. Using a spreadsheet, I could model future finances for a scenario like current income, 401k growth, and future Social Security, but adding something like real estate investments made already complex finance formulas even more complex, and they were tedious to verify. So I created an Apple app to easily allow modeling and estimation of many, and I mean many, future financial scenarios. And I made the app available for others to benefit from as well. The Apple iOS app is called Retirement Estimator, and you can install it from the Apple App Store. So I'm going to exit this spreadsheet application now, and I'm going to go look at this in the App Store. So I'll go to the Apple App Store, and I'll do a search here for Retirement Estimator. And then it's the app with the gold $sign in the green background, so I'll open that up. It's free to download. There are some in-app purchases that you can make if you start doing more complex financial scenarios. And so the in-app purchases are like unlimited finance entry for $1.99, the premium package that gets all the other three for a discount, ability to generate CSV reports, or basically or spreadsheet reports, and if you want to import and export data so you can have multiple financial scenarios that you want to save, give to somebody else or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this, and then I'm going to open the app up. So here I have it here, and I'll open it and log in. And so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to import some data that I've already entered into here as a demonstration. And there are several videos on how to use the app on the Retirement Estimator YouTube channel, so you can go look if you want details on from start to end on how to use it. You can go and look at the other videos, but just as an overview, I'm going to load one here. I'm planning for retirement at 45. I'm going to choose replace whatever I have in there now, and here I can enter income, investments, expenses, and transfers, which have already been entered for this set of data. And I'm going to go over to the estimator, and I'm going to go look at my estimated expenses and income and investments from 45 to 90. And I can view a graph. And so I'll go look at the graph. And so this graph is going to show a lot of information about income, investments, and expenses. So for example, like this line is for spouse one's 401k, and says the investment amount is $533,000 and it's growing at a 7% rate. And then the red line here is spouse 2 401k, and there's a savings account and it's showing the growth of that. And then when there's a drop in the line, you can transfer, you're making transfers from income investment to expenses. And so it calculates all that out into the future. And then so you see the savings being used up here for um, the expenses. See which one of these. So yearly living expenses to 65 at this point in the year. What is it? 2029. It says, oh, the expense cost is 97,857. That's the expenses are, everything is kind of growing at a percentage rate, and so expenses grow at a 2% rate of inflation in this example. All of that can be entered in the money investments, or in the income investments and the expenses and transfers section. So, and then it goes all the way out to 2064. So the graph goes out. Yeah, so the y-axis is money here, and the x-axis is time into the future. So to summarize, charting your path to financial independence is as easy as tracking your expenses, assessing your income and investments, modeling future finances, and budgeting accordingly. And if you're inclined, you can do that on your own with spreadsheets and a tool like Retirement Estimator for practically nothing. Enjoy planning how to get more of your time under your control.